Hey everyone, and welcome back to my series called Satan Invented Evolution. This is part 6. If you've not seen the first 5 parts, click my name, VenomFangX, on the side, and you can check out the first 5 parts, then come back here when you're all ready. Alright, I'm calling this one the death blow because I kind of want to wrap this series up. I've given you plenty of evidence that evolution is complete baloney, but I think in this one I'm going to go right for the buttocks. I'm going to kick it right where it hurts. Evolutionists have been messaging me lately, and they've been trying to show me evidence of evolution. And I, of course, welcome that. If there's any evidence, I'd love to see it. But, okay, so this one guy messages me today, and he says, okay, I have proof of evolution. I'm like, okay, lay it on me. So he says, we had this bacteria, and this bacteria is now immune to antibiotics. Wow, that's pretty impressive. So, hold on, let me ask you something. What did you start with? A bacteria. Okay, and what did you end with? A bacteria. Wow. And that means I'm evolving into a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle?
Whoa, Mikey, dude! You are awesome! Cowabunga!
He then said, he has an insect. Okay. And that insect is now immune to insecticide. Totally immune. Wow, that's pretty impressive. What did you start with? An insect. Oh, okay. What did you end with? An insect. Ah, so that means I'm evolving into a telepathic space mutant. And I came from monkeys, obviously. Duh.
Grandpa, what are you doing? Oh no, no.
I mean, really, when I get a shot for hepatitis and I become inoculated for hepatitis, that obviously means I'm a space mutant. And I'm evolving, duh. Of course, I mean, why didn't I think of that?
Stupid! You're so stupid!
So, once again, exactly like I said in my earlier video, every time they'll try to give you evidence for evolution, they'll always show you microevolution, a variation of what already exists. You know, you might have a dog give birth to a smaller dog, or a dog give birth to a bigger dog, but it's still a dog. It'll always be a dog. Dogs come in all shapes and sizes. So do humans. So does every creature on the planet. But they do not change. They're the same. You see, it's so ridiculous. I'll give you another thing that they like to show you as evidence of evolution. Vestigial organs, they call them. There's no such thing, but they like to say that the human tailbone and the human appendix are vestigial. Well, I happen to know that there are 8 muscles that connect to your tailbone, and if you didn't have your tailbone, you would lose a lot of valuable functions that I'm not going to tell you about. Also, your appendix is part of your immune system. Now, they're going to say, well, you can live without it, so obviously it's vestigial and proof of evolution that we're losing organs we used to have, so we're evolving. Well, first of all, you can't lose everything to get everything, obviously. In fact, losing something is not gaining, so that's obviously not proof of evolution. And the fact is, you can live without your arms and your eyes and your ears and your legs. Does that prove they're vestigial? Of course not. Of course not. There's no such thing as a vestigial organ. What we need as proof of evolution is new organs. I need to become more complex over time. But that's, of course, never been observed at all. Allow me to give you a quick analogy using computer programs. Computer programs are made of code, computer code. Someone has to sit there and write it. DNA is like a computer code. There's information in our DNA. When our parents had us, what happened was our moms and dads, their information was mixed, and they created us. That's how it works. There's a little bit of your mom in you, and a little bit of your dad in you. Now, there's not a little bit of the person next door. Right? I mean, what they're doing is they're taking the information that was there, copying it, and making you. My point is, no new information was added. At all. At all. All the information that you have was in your parents to begin with. Right? So, let me give you an example using the computer programs. Windows XP and Windows 98. Kind of different. Very much the same. They're both Windows. Now, if you copy Windows XP on top of Windows 98, replace certain files and stuff like that, are you going to come up with the operating system Linux? What if you do it 100 times? 200 times? A billion times? A trillion times? A gazillion, trillion, billion, quadrillion times? Never. You will never get Linux, ever. You'll corrupt the system, and it won't work anymore, eventually, but you'll never make something new. And that's exactly what evolution is. Or the lack of. We are copying information from our parents, but no new information is added. Mutations happen. What a mutation is a file copying error. Basically, I'm going to give you examples of mutations that we've seen recently. There was a 5-legged cow and a 2-headed turtle. You see, the information for the head and the leg were already in the turtle, and it got multiplied. Is that beneficial? No, that's actually terrible and awful, and those animals will not survive in the wild. Those are going to be the first ones that the predators pick off. So, what is an example of beneficial mutation? Never been observed. Never. Not one. Now, an evolutionist is going to show you an example of microevolution, which is that bacteria becoming immune to antibiotics. That's a chemical deficiency which has absolutely nothing to do with information being copied, multiplied, corrupted, anything, or new information. Has nothing to do with that at all. Nothing at all. So, when an evolutionist says mutation is the cause of evolution, no, mutation is corrupted information. And when they say that there's such thing as beneficial mutation, it's never been seen. Never. Not one. So, evolutionists are stuck in a place where they have to believe that Windows XP and Windows 98 can make Linux. That is what they're saying. And that is ridiculous. Now, once you get off the whole mutation subject, which is utter bogus, they're going to get you onto the fossil topic. And this one's a good one, because what does a fossil tell you when you find it in the dirt? It tells you one thing. It died. It doesn't tell you that it had any kids. It doesn't tell you when it died or when it lived. It doesn't tell you anything, does it? It died. Whatever it was, it's dead. That's it. You can believe it was evolving. You can believe it had children that evolved. But that's a belief. It's dead. Okay? I mean, that's it. That's all there is to it. It's dead. So an evolutionist, puts a string of stuff together and says, look how it evolved. Well, no. I can arrange forks from spoons from knives. That doesn't mean anything. It means nothing at all. Now, we talked about in an earlier video that there is a serious lack of transitional fossils, and yeah, there is. Darwin even admitted that the fossil record should have millions of transitional fossils, but it appears that everything was created spontaneously. That an act of creation created everything fully formed in their complexity, that there was no transition between anything. And that's what we see today. So, if you want to believe that the dead bones could do things that we don't see today, or that dead bones are proof of something that we've never seen, you can believe that. That's your religion, but you can believe that. It's ridiculous, though, and it's downright numbskullery. It's just stupid. One of my favorite objections that come from evolutionists is they say, why did God make everything a carbon-based life form? We're all made of carbon. RNA, DNA, amino acids. Why didn't God use different elements for different life forms? To be more original. Well, let's use the banana as an example. Let's say God made the banana out of a different element. We wouldn't be able to eat it or digest it or get nutrition from it. So it seems God did us a favor and made us able to eat everything. Pretty much everything. Yeah, I'll go ahead and say it. Everything evolutionists bring up can be answered by common sense. Now, you might not have the immediate answer to it, but I promise you, it's out there. The answer is on an internet site, I guarantee it. I mean, I've seen every objection from an evolutionist and every debunking argument for it. So it's out there. I'm going to link you to it, of course, all the answers and stuff on the side. There's so many great sites, and if you believe in evolution, there's only one reason you do. It's because you haven't saw an argument against it. Evolution is like communism. If you lived in a communist nation and you stood up in your school as a teacher and you said you didn't believe in communism anymore, you'd be shot in public. Now that might be politically incorrect in today's society, but if you came into a school with a book like this, and you said, you know, I don't believe in evolution anymore, that is suicide. Maybe not in terms of your life, but in terms of employment, you'd lose your job. There have been tons of people who used to teach evolution in universities and schools. They lost their job because they no longer believed in it. They lost their job. It's communism. It's Satanism, and I'm sick and tired of Satan's lies. And so I make videos exposing them for what they are. And well, I hope this has opened the eyes of a few people and continued to strengthen the faith of those who are in the faith.
Look, all I was trying to say...
Oh, shut up, you pinhead! You make me sick!